I'm very sad about this bum of the week. Very, very sad about it. Jacoby Myers. Now, the Patriots were a team. Nah, they're not my team, but I like them. You know, if I had to pick someone to make the 7th seed in the AFC wildcard spot, I'm like, yeah, Patriots, that's fine. I don't think they're going to do it anymore. Not because they lost this one game and that says that they're a bad team, but because I think them losing this game kind of puts them out of contention. This is one of those games that was probably a air quotes free win for them compared to some of the other games where they kind of needed to win this one to make the playoffs because they got a lot of tough games ahead. But they lost to the Raiders, and very close, good game. It was 34-34 as the last play of the game happened. It was Patriots on offense, and usually you think, like maybe try to take a Hail Mary shot at the end zone because it's too far for the field goal attempt. Maybe, you just try to run it up the side and see if you can get somewhere. I don't know, you try something. Or you just go down and go to overtime because, like, hey, let's just go down, keep our players fresh, go to overtime. That's all they did. Handed off the ball to Rashondre Stevenson. He runs up. He laterals the ball because he's about to get tackled after getting a pretty good game, by the way. And so I'm sitting there watching this lateral. I'm like, you know what? Not a bad idea, I guess. I love when, big laterals work, but, once you throw it back and the second guy's covered, just go down, go to overtime, win it then. That's not what happened. Jacoby Myers took the ball and threw it like 20 yards backwards into the hands of Chandler Jones, who, if you didn't know, is a defensive player for the Raiders. Chandler Jones takes that ball and runs it into the end zone and scores as time expires, and the Raiders win. Now, the reason he's the bum of the week is because that cost him the game. And like I said, we want to try and stay away from whole teams because that's just kind of meh. Let's be more specific about these bums of the week. This is what we created this segment for. Specific plays like this where one guy just blows it, and that was Jacoby Myers. He threw the ball straight to a defensive end. We could have just gone to overtime, and Patriots have a solid defense and a solid offense. They probably could have gone out there and kicked a field goal or something. Maybe they lose in overtime, but at least it's not the fault of one guy. The one thing that I do want to say about this is I like how he handled it afterwards. He went back to the locker room, got interviewed, and was like, hey, that was my fault. I made a horrible play. I'm super sorry. He didn't try to oh, it's not my fault. I couldn't see. I was trying to throw to this guy, and this guy just didn't get open. He's like, that was my fault. I made a horrible play. That's on me. My bad. I'm sorry. And as we've discussed on this show probably every week, we all love when guys take accountability. That's a massive piece of being on a team and being a valued, loved member of the team is taking accountability when it's your fault that you did something, and he did that. So that's why I'm sad to call him Bum of the Week, because if it were anyone else that didn't take credit, then, man, we would be digging into this guy. But I'm sad to say it because he is such a great guy, such a good team player. He's a very reliable receiver back there and up there in New England. So it's sad, but, he made a horrible play, and so he's Bum of the Week. The other thing I wanted to talk about, a little bit more of a positive note, it's probably the only bum of the week we'll talk positively about.
Yeah. I don't know that there's much else that you can say about that, too. I mean, it's just a
that's
bum
just what
play.
the play was, It's just how it happened. But the other thing, along with Jacoby Myers taking credit, there was several other people in the Patriots offense that were on the same wavelength. Mac Jones is like, yeah, that was my fault. I didn't tackle Chandler Jones. I could have tackled him and gone to overtime. It's like, yeah, it's a little bit your fault, too, because you could have tackled him, but you didn't. It's like, it's a little bit Jacoby Myers' fault because he didn't have to throw a pick. And I think Rashondre Stevenson said the same thing. It was one other player. It might not have been Stevenson, but said the same thing. He's like, I didn't have to do that. I could have done this instead. And so there was a few guys on this team that were taking the blame for it. And once again, love to see that. But the only other thing I want to mention about this, and I'm kind of angry at Bill Belichick for it. Bill Belichick was asked, hey, why not just take a shot at the end zone? And he's like, oh, we can't throw it that far. You kidding me? Mac Jones can't throw it that far? Yes, he can, and he has. Mac Jones has thrown balls that far. So, I don't understand what he was saying then. 1. 2, even if he can't go down, or 1, let him wind up. Because, if you're setting up for Hail Mary, he's not going to get sacked. Their O-line is pretty freaking good, and they're not going to rush, a ton of defenders. They're going to probably drop back and go make plays in the back. So, maybe he throws a pick, but it doesn't really matter because the time expires and you're trying to make a play. But maybe he throws it to the 5-yard line and the guy's able to catch it and fall backwards and get into the end zone and make a touchdown. Either way, I don't know why Bill Belichick said that he can't throw it that far because he's done it. He's thrown balls that far before, so I don't get it. But that's what Bill Belichick said, and he's a genius, but I don't get it. So, whatever. That's it for Bum of the Week. This is a brief one. Like I said, I don't like doing what we're doing right now. It pains me to do this, but...
Well, especially to a player like Jacoby Myers, who's had a lot of difficulties in the past few weeks with injuries and stuff like that. I mean, you can't really be too harsh on him. It's not like Zach Wilson type bum of the week or,
Yeah.
Russell Wilson bum of the week where they're clearly just bums. But, this was just a bad play.
I miss when it was Zach Wilson, when it was a bad player and he acted like a brat outside of the game and it was just easy.
He's still doing that, but we can't recycle him, so.
Yeah, we're not going to recycle, so. But that's it for Bum of the Week. We're going to go ahead and move on to our picks for this week because